everyone. Welcome to another episode of Flashback 64, the chronological Nintendo 64 podcast. I am Gooey, joined as always by McKenna.
Hello.
And we've got kind of a classic ep today, I feel like.
Yeah.
This is what the podcast is all about. Us trying some weird game I've never heard of with some of our great friends that we've made throughout doing this show. And of course, we're talking about Forsaken 64 today. And yeah, it's a classic ep. Let's bring in. We got some of the all-time Hall of Famers here. Returning to us. Okay, hold on. I'm going to first introduce Andrew Elmore. What's up, Andrew?
Hello.
How you doing? Welcome back.
Ain't found a way to kill me yet. That's all right. That's what I got.
That should be that's like your catchphrase, like sitcom style on the show. I feel like
just drop into a really bad Alice in Jane's impression every time someone asks me how I'm doing, just instinctively.
Also, I wanted to give you a chance to finish chewing. We got IdolismJ. What's up, Jay?
Yeah, if you heard that really awkward stutter step in Goo's voice, that's because he looked over and I'm eating dinner, like with great podcast etiquette. Now I need to step in also and yes and with Andrew's bit and be like, oh yeah, at the sitcom people be like, oh Andrew, how you doing? Down in a hole.
Oh, yeah, you could harmonize on that too.
Yeah, there's a lot of meat on the Alice in Chains bone.
Okay.
them bones.
Them bones.
Them Alice in Chains bone.
Wow. Okay, well, I'm sorry I put you on blast there. You didn't deserve that. You're offering your time to us.
Yeah. If there's any awkward pauses during the recording, it's because I'm eating dinner during the recording, like a good podcaster does.
This guy's going through a lot right now, so we all let's be nice. I'm saying that to myself. Okay. We know what the deal is. We don't have to waste a lot of time. We can get into it. But of course, first, before we talk about Forsaken 64, we're going to do the flashback segment. This game allegedly came out April 30th, 1998, which is, look, we haven't even gone anywhere since you were last on, Andrew. It's the same day, maybe, as Arrow Gauge and Bust-A-Move 2 Arcade Edition for the N64. So we're just living in late April 98. So, number one song, it's still Too Close by Next. So I'm going to go further down the chart. How's It Gonna Be by Third Eye Blind at number
hell yeah
25. It's been on the chart for 22 weeks. It peaked at number 9, and it will have a total of 52 weeks on the Billboard Hot 100. Semi-Charmed Life just dropped off at 49, which was on the chart for 43 weeks and peaked at 4. So we are living at Third Eye Blind. It's so hot right now.
Yeah, out of the chart, but never out of my heart. I love that album to death.
Can we graduate?
I am dangerously close to getting matching tattoos with my best friend that have the part of lyrics of Semi-Charmed Life on it.
Can I graduate? That was a great poll.
Great song off that album.
We were listening to that. I have fond memories of that album now because we were listening to it a bunch driving around. I think the weekend that we got engaged.
Yeah,
that and the Tetrasphere soundtrack. And
yes.
I remember all these things. And
the sommelier was pulling overtime to get that pair and go together. Prodigy we were listening to. So that's maybe more connection, but okay. Also that album, the Third Eye Blind album it's at number 32 and it debuted at 135, peaked at 25, and it has 106 weeks on the chart total. So banger. Okay.
Hot dang.
That was, of course, the Titanic soundtrack. That was number 1. So, okay.
Didn't see that coming.
Titanic's world. We're just living in it.
Yeah. We can't move on, I don't think, from big ships sinking.
We're going down with the ship.
Still the same time, the big hit was the number 1 movie of the weekend. So again, I'm going to pull something further down. And I found that there was a movie released in theaters. Oh no, we got
The Titanic police are coming to arrest you for not talking enough about Titanic.
From this moment, no matter what we do, Titanic will founder.
All right. Apparently, there was a movie released, Tarzan and the Lost City, which was starring Casper Van Dien as Tarzan.
Shine really came off of that apple quick, huh?
I guess so. Yeah, I debuted
like
at
11
12
minutes after Starship Troopers. Like,
yeah, right after. So I guess this was like he's gonna be in a starring role, but this was, I believe, it was a box office bomb. So also,
starting that sentence off with apparently was doing a lot of work, because everything after that came after that was like, sure, man, you tell me that happened because I don't recall.
They were trying to make a Tarzan. We're a little bit off from the Tarzan Renaissance. So
the Tarzan Renaissance had not quite taken hold yet. We were on the cusp of a new millennium. These things are right next to each other.
Some Gen Zers listening to this thinking we're making things up.
A new Tarzan for a new generation comes to the screen. Casper Van Dien of Starship Troopers, Jane March. Tarzan and the Lost City, rated PG, only in theaters April 24th.
I mentioned it in a previous episode that on this date, I was also going to say something that was a bummer. I'm going to bring it down for just a second. But I think it's good to do some nostalgia kind of busting. Not that kind of busting, but actually, so Bill Clinton, he gave a news conference.
You can't say busting and
okay. I was like gonna set up like a rock star joke, and you just went Bill Clinton. Oh my god! I know when you get all three of us on an episode, we've done this a couple times. It's gonna get punchy, but Jesus, Goo.
I'm sorry. It's hard
like that.
I have this I got to keep it moving, but also I don't want to make the connection, and then I do it anyway. But he was trying to avoid the allegations, the busting allegations.
That's back when we thought that there were still consequences for actions, and so we hadn't quite figured out yet that all that was made up. So
so he gave this conference, and all of the things he talked about in the conference, watching it back, it's like, oh, crikey. So he talked about how the economy was going great. Cool.
It's gonna last forever.
Yeah.
He was talking about how, they're pumped. They expanded NATO to Russia's border. Sick.
Oh, hell yeah.
And he was celebrating a hope for peace in the Middle East because the day was also Israel's 50th birthday. So
Sometimes I wouldn't believe the Nazis existed if I didn't live through it.
Yeah. That's the big, everything like the late 90s is pure hubris. Like watching some of the shows we watch back, we'll watch some old episodes of Saturday Night Live or whatever, and we're like, oh god, we are about to get knocked on our ass.
Watching the asteroid hurtling towards Earth.
Ugh.
Watching America pull the asteroid down out of space with a chain, say, no, get back here. You're not gonna not strike on our account.
Ugh, yeah. I want to say more, but I feel like people would get mad.
I'm too tired, man.
Okay, well, speaking of the future, the future at this time is Forsaken, but for more than one reason. So why don't we, McKenna, tell us about Forsaken 64?
Forsaken 64 is a first-person shooter where you'll fly a vehicle through 3D environments, killing looters on a post-apocalyptic Earth. Choose your bike and arm yourself with primary weapons, which shoot lasers and bullets, and secondary weapons, which consist of various missiles and mines. Collect power-ups to boost your speed, increase your weapon power, replenish your shield strength, and more. You'll battle ground enemies like legs, flying enemies like levitanks, as well as turrets. Missions will have you clearing enemies, destroying targets, collecting or defending objects, and taking on bosses. Up to 4 players can battle in multiplayer in a timed max frag mode or a survival last man standing mode in Forsaken 64.
Nice. So Forsaken 64, developed by Probe, ported to the N64 by Iguana UK, published by Acclaim. Andrew, I guess let's start with you. Any other I feel like you're kind of our official shooter guy. You're our expert we call in. any other I guess historical context you can think of for this? Everything I saw people talking about this game, they're comparing it to this other game called Descent, which I also had never really heard of. But yeah, anything else you think to fill in the blanks there?
Yeah, so Descent 1 and 2 would have been out at this point. I don't know when they first started throwing spin-offs out there. I know Descent 3 was not ready yet. But yeah, it was kind of a what they were calling the 6DOF, the 6 Degrees of Freedom shooter, which they called because you had to use a 6-axis controller to. That's not a joke. What am I talking about? Anyway, it was just what if? How do I put it? Early software rendered 3D environments on the PC where you could fly around in first person with no kind of gravitational effects other than just a normal Newtonian like momentum sliding around. But there's no gravity. You're in space and rolling around and pitching, yawn, rolling, all that fun stuff. And yeah, so there were 2 of those, and then a number of other games kind of in the following years that were taking similar, so I'm looking for ideas, whatever. Forsaken probably being the most notable among them, or at least the most aggressively marketed, and one of the only ones that tried to come out on consoles very admirably, also, I think.
Yeah.
But there was a reason that when I showed up on the Hexen episode, I said, God help you when you get to Forsaken. The kid was talking
Ultimate
about
foreshadowing.
motion sickness issues in this because, dear Lord. And yeah, while Iguana UK did do the N64 version of this game, it is also worth noting it is a different video game to the other one, which is to say the PC original, because the PS1 version of this game is a very direct port of the PC original, and in those games you are the looters effectively going through and solving a bunch of mid-90s first-person shooter style like dungeon puzzles to grab a bunch of gold and get out, I guess. Everyone loves gold. All the kids these days are all talking about how much they love acquiring gold. The big on Lode Runner. So yeah, it's kind of flipped in the N64 version where you are playing the same characters, I guess, but defending, sort of, I guess, for lack of a better word, going on the offensive to defend from what's being looted as opposed to doing the looting.
That's something we were trying to figure out what the deal was, because it felt like a very like that feels like something you'd hear was like a note from Nintendo, like, hey, can you make the game like a bit more nicer or something? But like,
can you be the cops?
Yeah, can you have games go around and shake everyone's hand when they're in the emergency room at the end or whatever?
But would they do that for like a game that's like, they didn't publish it or anything, right? That seems weird. What was you had a theory about it, right, McKenna? Or you found?
I just said like maybe they just did that for the perceived audience.
Know your audience or something.
I mean, this is still one of the like 3 M-rated games on the N64, so I don't know. I'm also not entirely sure why.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up. Why? Like, there's barely anything in this game that justifies an M rating. Like, debatably anything that justifies a T rating. I had to like go out of my way to find blood.
Yeah, it's difficult. Like, there's a little bit of very bright neon blood. That's about all I can find.
Yeah, I mean, foreshadowing for later, but like, it's an M rating because you need to be like close to legal drinking age to be good enough at video games to play this fucking thing.
Yeah, that's kind of where it's actually at.
Yeah, there's like a gore code you can put in and make yourself explode into like brains and jibs and stuff. But that feels like that shouldn't make the difference. And
yeah,
if it did,
like everything in this game is biomechanical at best, mechanical almost entirely.
You're shooting robots.
Yeah, you're shooting down like robot shitbirds and like there's nothing humanoid or bloody, and not to say like any swearing or suggestive themes either. Like, this is pretty cut and sterile. Is like a sci-fi robot shooter, mechanical destruction. There's a curious case of like, why did this get an M rating slapped on it?
There are a couple PG cusses in the PC version that aren't in here. So
the PC version that is a very separate and different game.
Yeah, like I should be clear, they are like at first glance they look nearly identical. Like the layout of the UI is a little bit different, stuff like that. But they are largely it's almost like different mission packs from the same game in a sense. Like it's the same. You're looking at the same engine. Everything looks very, very similar. It's just organized differently.
I was trying to think of like what is the parallel to how this works, because I've never played the PC version, but I know it's different. And it's like if you thought that Doom 64 was going to be a Doom you knew and didn't realize is a completely different Doom, but it's still very much Doom. It's just a different Doom, and even that might be stretching it a little too much. But like, yeah, it's not a straight port. It's
a Quake 2 64 situation. Yeah,
this is something a little bit more common from this era, where like you got a port and it's a different game, not like NES reworks Ninja Gaiden to be a completely different game, but like it's a different game when it gets ported.
Yeah,
it's weird though, because like we've talked about this before, but sometimes it's like called the same thing, or in this case, it's called Forsaken 64. So I can imagine like at the time, like not. It's weird, like not knowing exactly what you're gonna get. I guess that's what like magazines and reviews are for, but still, like if you were just like, Forsaken, there's a N64 version. I don't know who's like really excited about that, but
I mean, people that like don't have a expensive beefy ass computer in the late 90s.
Yeah, presumably. I guess that would have been me if I was a little older or something. Did you have much of like a history with the game itself?
My memory of Forsaken is limited almost entirely to my dad's friend rented it one time. Like we were at their house and he was like, I rented this weird N64 game, and we did a little bit of like split screen multiplayer for a bit, and I was very, very confused trying to navigate all these weird like tunnels and stuff with a control scheme I'd never encountered before. That was the entirety of my memory of this game for a long, long time. It's like I knew what it was, in terms of just like having the like mental knowledge of like, yes, I know what Forsaken is or whatever, but like in terms of my firsthand experience with it, up until a few months ago, that's been it forever.
Okay, so we all kind of got to learn something here today. How about you, Jay? Because you had it on like the list of games you gave to me. Was it just like out of curiosity, or what were you thinking?
Yeah, I think I own a physical copy of it somewhere within my N64 collection, and I played a bit of it many, many years ago. And it was a game I kind of wanted to come on and talk about, to not excise the demons of my childhood or anything, but like something we'll talk about later is like this game was marketed to shit and back when it was coming out for the N64.
And then it vanished.
And so it was always been on my radar ever since I was young, because it was in Nintendo Power constantly. And I also say like effectively, because I think the Forsaken woman on the cover is like a really, really iconic cover. All the ads were just her, just the art of the game, like her with the lone tear and the tattoo on her cheek in a gray wasteland. That's all they used to market the game. You never really saw anything about the game, but like they just pushed that image so hard that I think it was at least somewhat successful in sticking in my brain, and probably the brain of many other people.
That cover is insane. McKen, what was your, like, when you, like, that's your first impression of the game? And it goes without saying, neither of us I had never even heard of it really before like starting the show. But yeah, what was your kind of first impression of, I guess, just the cover itself?
I saw that and I was like, who is this lady? Does she have anything to do with the game? Because I had a feeling.
No.
Yeah. Which was true. She has nothing to do with the game.
Not at all.
And it's not, the PC cover doesn't have that.
It does.
So, oh, really? I thought that had like just like a...
No, every version of the game in North America uses this key art and this advertising treatment and everything. It was just Europe and the rest of the world where it was a normal video game. Whereas here they just hired a model, and I guess presumably she walked through the rain to get to the studio.
they threw on November Rain by Guns N' Roses and said, get going.
Stand out here and sing for a while.
Oh, yeah, because I also remember now the PC version came with a calendar. of
Was
like
that where
various.
that came- Okay.
I think
Yeah, I saw-
there's like a booklet pack in or like a calendar pack in the big box of the
Okay.
PC version. Yeah.
Because I saw Brad Lynch on Blue Sky was posting pictures of that because he got it signed by that model, but I didn't realize that it came with the PC. I just thought he picked it up at like an early E3 or something because he has a bunch of random shit like that. That's great.
Yeah, that was it there. It's just it's like the same backdrop with various more sexy kind of photos than just like the face with the tattoo. And every
love
part of
the-
her body has this tattoo.
Every photo has this tattoo, like the logo, like photoshopped on her somewhere. And I love the implication that this one lady has this logo tattooed in like 12 different places.
It was on her face, on her ass, her stomach.
It's like
Hip,
You'd think after 7 times she'd get sick of it, but no, she loves the logo.
Really love that logo.
Which it's
either that or the same tattoo. The tattoo parlor was running the same flash sale for like weeks on end. She just wanted the value.
Yeah, you can't turn down a deal. It's not a good logo though either, I don't think, but it doesn't really I guess they're bikers, right? In the like that's the lore of the game.
Yeah,
right?
I guess so.
Yeah, like
kind of.
I guess you can like draw the conclusion from the logo. I don't think the logo works because like when the game starts up and you just see the logo, it looks like a joke that would show up on SpongeBob. Like one of the fish would show up with that tattooed on them. But when you put it on her cheek and she's in the gray wasteland of tears, I do think it's hard.
In a very 1998 specific way.
In a very like grunge happened and we all loved it.
We are transitioning into the new metal era right here, right now.
Yeah.
We're wrapping hearts on barbed wire. We are using ITC.
It can't just be any dagger. It's got to be a dagger with like all sorts of little flanges on it.
It's not too far out of left field, I guess, for a lot of things we've covered games with there's more like in our last episode we talked about that crazy cover for the Bust a Move 2 PlayStation version, like
the baby. Almost every Bust a Move I feel like got a ridiculous, like really weird looking cover art for some version or another over here.
I do love the Bust a Move baby.
You are the Bust a Move baby.
I am the Bust a Move baby.
It's on record.
It had to come out at some point, guys. I was the Bust a Move baby.
I'm so starstruck now. I can't continue.
The day I grew out of those sunglasses was a really, really terrible day for me.
It was extremely painful.
Okay, speaking of this logo and starting up the game is really pushing the strategy guide. You notice that?
Every port forces you to sit through that advertisement.
You start up, it's like, get the strategy guide, which, okay, to what you were saying, Jay, I mean, you might really need that strategy guide. This game,
that's the strategy guide ain't fucking helping you.
That's fair.
One game facts that was finally written a couple years ago.
Yeah.
That was very helpful to me, honestly. Okay, let's talk about playing the game, and let's make McKenna start. If you want to tell us what did you think about playing the game?
Well, at first I hated it. I was like, oh god, I'm never gonna be able to play this. I cannot. I can barely move.
Yeah,
I can't fly in a straight line. I think what helped was starting to think of it as like a piloting a vehicle first.
Yeah.
And as a shooter second.
Yeah.
Because if you think of it as you're flying a vehicle, it's like not all that, like you're pressing A to go.
Oh yeah, I'm hitting the gas, not moving forward or whatever.
Yeah.
Inverting up and down.
The accelerator on my feet.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it remained feeling a little jerky to me. But at least I felt like I could control it to some degree.
Yeah, it does offer a couple different control schemes at least, but which we spent some time messing around with. I never got like the exact perfect one where I really clicked with it, but there were some that were better than others where like I actually went from like kind of like confusion to like, oh, this feels good to play. Other than like Jay mentioned, like the game just is very difficult. Jay, I'll let you speak on that because I think that was a big point of contention for you, or just like a big major takeaway you had.
Yeah, this game is moronically difficult. Like to the it's not like to the point where I'm like not sure you can outskill the game. It just puts you in situations where I am grasping at straws as to see like how you even beat some levels. And we discussed this. Like I got to the end of the easy levels without any sort of cheats, and the very last level of the easy levels, I didn't know how to beat it. There, like it has you do like 60 enemies.
Yeah,
and
it
does not give you 60 enemies worth of ammo. And then the last enemy is a boss fight where I had no ammo left and I didn't have any continues left. And I was like, okay, what do I do? I don't have the answers for this. There are no answers left. And I became like Johnny Ace at this game, trying it because it is very difficult to control. But after a while, I was like, I could pinpoint enemies. I was shooting lasers. I was sniping people from across rooms, conserving ammo, picking up ammo deposits at like the perfect right time, managing my shields when possible. Like I had left no stone unturned, and it still eventually was like, yeah, you just don't have enough resources. Get fucked. It was like this game is, and those are the easy levels. Like I didn't have time to try the medium or hard levels. This game is just freakishly difficult to the point where I don't know what they were shooting for. It just feels completely overtuned on its difficulty.
Yeah, I definitely like I was only able to see, I saw all the levels, but only because I put in like cheats. I was able to like get going on the way it works for people who don't know is like you play the first level, and depending on how quickly you do it, they give you like a different set of levels, like easy, medium, and difficult. And McKenna, we did confirm that there are points along that track where, similar to Star Fox 64 almost, you can like move to a different track, but it's pretty few and far between, right?
There's 2 levels where you can go on the medium path where you can go to hard.
Okay.
If you complete certain objectives.
I was pretty sure that happened to me at some point, but I didn't quite understand the route, like looking at it on the map. Mm-hmm. So I was able to get onto the medium route, but not get very far in it. And I was able to play a little bit further into the easy route. But like Jay said, like there was a point where I just ran out of ammo. And other than I turned on unlimited lives, which kind of takes away any sort of stakes to it and doesn't feel quite as exciting. But I did kind of push through and beat those levels just to see what they were like. But I much preferred how they handled because when you die on those routes and like get a game over, when you run out of lives, you're done. It's like Star Fox. It's like you start a new run. So there's not like, like restart from this point with lives. So you have to get really good at it. Like you can't just.
Yeah, you could save a checkpoint. I think it's every 5 missions.
Yeah, every 4 or so missions, you get like a Donkey Kong Country ass checkpoint, where if you like game over, you go back probably 3 stages. You don't get to save after every one of these. And that I think that reinforces the idea that like this game demands absolute mastery of you. If the problem stage is 3 stages down from your last save point, then you need to make sure that you're wasting no lives getting back to where you were struggling.
And when you go back to those save points, like you still had the same amount of lives like when you save, so it's not even like, oh, I could like maybe push through because I have like a couple extra lives. Like if you had 1 life, you're just kind of stuck with that. Playing I played some of the remaster, and I much preferred like that, where you get the set amount of lives, and if you run out in the level, you game over. But like you know it, I get it, it's like a different game. I feel like they had to have been inspired by like Star Fox. I feel like
yeah, because your read of it being very Star Fox is correct, but it just doesn't feel like it fits the game at all. Trying to Star Fox a line of missions in this game is incredibly taxing on what the default is of 3 lives. Again, like to get to the end of the easy missions would require absolute mastery on 3 lives. Like,
yeah,
there's just not like it's so easy to run out of ammo. It's so easy to take too much damage. Like things in this game that damage you, there's hit scanners from like a long ways away that are hard to avoid. When you blow up a ship, if it's too close to you, you take damage from ships that are being blown up. This game just does not fit into the structure of Star Fox, and it's very much trying to. Like the stages also just go too long to be Star Fox stages.
In Star Fox, if you play through the easy route, like you get to the end and it still feels satisfying. I never got to the end of the easy route like without cheating, but when I did, it's like it's similar to like how a lot of other games are at the time, where it tells you like to get the further into the story, like easy route is part 1 of the story, medium is part 2, hard is part 3. It isn't like, oh, you're at the end. They tell you like, oh no. They in fact like tease you with a final boss on the medium route, where you encounter the final boss and you have to basically survive, and then it tells you like to actually face this boss you have to play through the hard route. So
is that the one where it's like get the beacon and survive for 60 seconds or whatever?
Yeah, there's a couple
mass spawn enemies at you.
There's a few levels, that sort of take that sort of route, and I think that's kind of what you got to do there. So I don't know, I'm not necessarily opposed to that. Like I think if there's a couple games we've played like that where it's like like I think of like Bomberman 64, where it's like here you can play the game, it's challenging enough, but if you want to be like a sicko and like get everything, like we'll give you this extra stage and like different ending. I get that, but I feel like I would be more amenable to that if the easy route was more achievable and like had a better ending, I guess. But I don't know. Andrew, what do you think about the overall like sort of gameplay and difficulty curve and everything?
Yeah, I think the way that they've got that carved up feels pretty similar to the way that a lot of old arcade games will do it, where it's like, if you drop it down to easy mode, it's like you can play through the first like 3 or 4 stages, but if you want to see the rest of the video game, you need to bump it up. I was thinking of it less like Star Fox and more like Castlevania 3 on the NES, I guess, in terms of just kind of branching paths and the way that the like life and continue system kind of works. But I don't know. It's I did not pick up Forsaken 64 until I'd finished the campaign on the PC game on the same old computer that I've been using for the like all the stuff that we've done so far for Hexen and Quake and all that, the Pentium 2 Voodoo 2 machine. And this engine famously glides on Glide real fast. So it is disgustingly fast on Voodoo 2, which was really, really nice. And then
awesome.
Really fun to then pop in the PS1 port after that and be like, oh, this runs at 60 frames a second on the PlayStation.
Wow.
Am I seeing things? And it's not like, super duper locked down or anything, but it is freakishly smooth. It's a really, really efficient engine. And then back to the N64, and it's back down to 30, but I mean, it's the N64. So
I will say, like, this game is really, really a shockingly smooth 30 for the N64. Like, this game does feel like a bit of a technical marvel for the N64. It runs great.
Yeah. Dynamic colored lighting and all that stuff flying around everywhere. It's awesome. They managed to, it's weird. I was going to mention the soundtrack for this game feels like, I forget his name now. Was it Don McGinn? Whatever. I mentioned it the other day. Anyway, it's a lot of extremely British tracker music because it's probe. But for whatever reason on the PC and PS1 versions, it's Redbook audio on the disc. So you could just put that in a CD player and listen to it normally.
Ooh.
But because it's tracker music, it's still crunched down enough to feel right at home on an N64 cartridge. So it works out perfectly. Anyway, so I just played through that with a force feedback Sidewinder joystick, and boy howdy, that is the way to play Forsaken. Everything else feels dumb after that. Like just using a late 90s joystick for like one of the only things that using a late 90s joystick is good for, and having it like fight back and stuff just made controlling that game feel novel, but it also just felt a lot more organic. This is the kind of nerdy shit they were making this for, kind of thing. So then moving to the console versions and the Night Dive remaster on PC after that was kind of weird.
A downgrade.
Basically, a little bit. In a lot of ways, a huge upgrade, but there's no other way to use that old ass joystick. So I guess get an old computer or run something off my abandonware and a bunch of I don't know, driver mods or something, whatever. Anyway, what I was trying to say is I had just finished the main campaign on normal difficulty on the old PC version that way. And then I went and played through about half of it on the Night Dive remaster and about half of it on the PS1 version. And then I went through and I thought I finished the easy route first on the N64 game. I might not have. The way that Jay is talking about it has me hesitant to claim that I did, but I thought I did. And then I got through most of the medium route, and then today, this morning, the analog 3D arrived, so I christened that by popping Forsaken 64 in there.
Hell yeah!
And seeing if I could get my time down on that first stage, and got it down under 90 seconds. And
so you
tried
got onto
a little
that.
bit more of the hard route there again, but yeah, so I've kind of sample plattered the rest of this thing, I guess. Which is to say, I've played entirely too much Forsaken lately.
More than most
now you're
people
immune
have.
to motion sickness forever.
Maybe more than anyone. Yeah, exactly. That was part of it, is like playing it at really, really high frame rates on a CRT at the beginning, on like an old PC CRT. Like the motion clarity on that thing was so nice that maybe I did make myself immune to motion sickness. Who can say? So yeah, that I shockingly did not really run into that with this game too much.
Yeah, I didn't really have that. I had some people who were watching me play like comment like, "Oh, this might give me motion sickness."
Oh,
but
yeah, I bet if the controller's not in your hand, especially, it's
I
gonna
would
be
say that the
rough.
one thing with Forsaken that I think alleviates a lot of motion sickness is that this game will constantly reorient you to up. And Andrew,
Yeah.
Andrew can
turn off
fact check me
version.
on this one. Descent doesn't do that. It's
Not
yeah, because I have
to my
the PS1
memory,
version
at
of
least. It's
Descent,
been
and
a
I
minute.
wanted to play it to review for this just as a contrast, because Forsaken is just in conversation with Descent. Like you can't talk about Forsaken without talking about
You
Descent.
can't bring it up without, yeah. It's one of those things where like you have enough clones of something, you have a genre, but when there's just a couple, there's still clones of
that's
something.
something I kind of want to talk about as well. Like
yeah.
the 6 degrees of movement fighter shooter spaceship game, it didn't go much further than this.
Not really. There's been a couple sort of like spiritual successors and revival attempts over the years, and like some zero-G
Yeah, because I'm
first-person
thinking
shooters.
like the next thing you would get out of this would be like,
Not like this.
if you're doing a 6 degrees of motion game, it's like a space shooter, like Star Lancer. Yeah. But that just doesn't that doesn't hit the same way when you're out in space, as opposed to the techno tunnels.
Yeah, it's why Descent Free Space becomes its own, franchise after this, because this is based on like the early Descent stuff, Windows 95. Like this is Forsaken is also a Windows 95 video game, but like running that stuff on DOS or whatever. Like they had to very carefully constrain your environments to these little systems of tunnels and cave networks and stuff like that, which is also probably good for the N64, because we had these big open spaces that a lot of other N64 games have. We'd be dealing with render distance fog, and it would be much more N64-y.
There's not much fog
it's
here.
really clear.
It's
It's
nice.
a really, really, really technically great N64 game. But yeah, I think the fact that the game is constantly reorienting you to up helps alleviate a lot of that motion sickness, because you feel like you are kind of more normally oriented at all times, whereas Descent, you take a wrong left turn at Albuquerque, and then every snaking tunnel may be up, maybe down. It's real disorienting.
Oh,
What if you were playing Twilight Princess and every time you open a door, whether the room was mirrored or not was a 50-50 chance?
That would be a sick like challenge run to do.
Weird
Someone
mod.
out there can do that. After playing the remaster, I kind of wish that this like theoretical genre did take off, because I was like, this whips ass. Like I really loved playing the remaster. I was curious about like what the original PC release was like. If you were to play it without the Sidewinder joystick, which sounds like the way to play, but if you were to play like mouse and keyboard, is it like you like WASD and mouse look, or like okay, that's how it controls? Because that was like a game changer to me, because then I was playing it more like a first person shooter, but I can also move up and down, like almost like I had like it'd almost be like playing Turok with where you can do the what's it called, the mode where the cheat code where you can just like float up in the air for no reason. And I was like, it made me feel it was like a power thing. It was like oh man, I can just fly wherever. Like, and the shooting felt really good. Like it really like blew me away. And I still get some fun out of the N64 version, but now we got a train going by.
Everybody trying to get in on it on Flashback 64.
I eventually sunk into sort of a groove of playing. Okay, well, that was loud. Oh my god,
this is gonna be a crazy episode. Is public transit friendly. We support trains on this podcast. Oh my god, that is loud.
This is Zoran Mondani's Flashback 64.
Hey everyone, my name's Darren Hupke. I'm a writer, publisher, and podcaster. My podcast is called Pixels and Polygons. Each week I sit down with a guest and ask one simple video game question. It's a random topic each week and it leads to a fun conversation. You can find it on your favorite podcast platform every Friday, and you can read more about it at pixelsandpolygons.net.
I did get some eventually when it clicks on the N64 version, trying the different control schemes, like it did click and there was like a satisfaction and like a good feel to it. But you know, I feel like when I was playing it on like with mouse and keyboard, it was like it all clicked into place. It felt good, and I felt like I wish I could have something close to this, which I'm sure was how a lot of people felt at the time with their console shooters. But it at least killed me in the N64 version that I couldn't invert the stick and make it more like a shooter. Like if I could do that and
make it wrong,
that would have made it like a lot more enjoyable to me. But it was still very much enjoyable. Like I think the ideal control scheme I settled on was the Turok control scheme where you move with the C buttons and aim with the stick. Like that was what worked for me, as opposed to like hitting A to go forward. And I could never get in, how you were saying, McKenna, like I could never fully get in that mindset of like, think flying a vehicle. So
it's weird. Like all the different ways to control this game kind of put your brain in a very different space. Like just using normal mouse and keyboard controls, it becomes a first-person shooter where you can fly. Whereas doing the same thing but swap that mouse out for a joystick, and you are now again fighting to maintain a vehicle that is extremely squirrely, which is a little bit more like what it's like on the N64 pad, where it's very much like I think it's style 3 is Sin and Punishment style, where left hand on the D-pad, right hand on the stick, and it's kind of a modern dual stick sort of configuration, for lack of a better description.
Yeah, that was my Quake 64 like style of choice, but in that the inversion made it really hard. Anyway, sorry, continue.
When I looped my 10-year-old into playing the split screen with me so I could see what that was like, that was the only way that she was able to kind of wrap her mind around movement at all as well, which totally understandable. But messing with it again today, I went back to the default scheme just to see what that was like, and I think having been used to the way that one stick first person N64 games kind of tend to control, which is where they usually end up putting strafing up on the C buttons, I've kind of gotten used to that, I guess, through the golden eyes of the world and whatnot, and then being able to strafe vertically in this game, to be able to move up and down with C up and down, is ridiculously useful, and losing that by moving back over to the dual stick configuration was a problem in terms of just like fine control and maneuverability, because like the gas and brake thing with A and B being your forward and back is really, again, it's extremely weird if it's a first person shooter, but if you've kind of wired your brain into thinking about this as a flight thing where you're maneuvering a vehicle, makes a little more sense. Like I can't use inverted aiming at all ever unless I am flying something, in which case it has to be inverted or else I will
same completely same.
I don't know. Like that's the difference between Rez and Panzer Dragoon in a weird way.
So maybe That could be too. I did have this feeling while I was playing where like doing this alternate control scheme, I felt like maybe I'm playing it wrong, and that's why I'm not doing well. But they do offer the scheme, I guess. So
yeah, I mean, it's in there. It's one of those things where like it might be easier to learn, harder to master, kind of thing. Like, are you giving yourself an easier foot in the door, but like harming your ability to like, yeah.
I totally felt that way. You know what? One way I did, this is totally cheating and shouldn't be factored. It should be stricken from the record. But I did play. I connected my N64 controller, like the Switch controller, to my Switch. But then I went in on the Nintendo Classics. You can change all of the controls, and I did it. I did invert the joystick, and I was playing like that. And I was like, this is amazing. And I loved it. But I was like, it feels wrong. Like I'm breaking the rules. I shouldn't be allowed to do this. So I didn't do it too much like that, even though I wish I could have.
You have to drape a ceremonial cloth over your head so that God can't see you eat the order. I forgot about that though. Sorry, I'm just going to go ahead and walk right over your face there.
Oh no.
Jay. No, I finally last night fired this up on the Switch as well. After remembering that you had to download a separate app for the grown-up N64 games, the N64 at night.
The thrill of still being carded at the bar, now home at Nintendo consoles.
But by the Super Mario brother. I basically set up a normal, like modern dual stick control scheme kind of thing with the way the analog sticks are on that, and then set the shoulder buttons to move up and down, and then it was set.
I did that as well. That was nice. Like that felt pretty good too. But I never got good at it that way, and so that was also like giving me the feeling of like, oh, I'm not. This is wrong. Like I'm breaking the rules.
I think I finished the medium route with that last night.
It also has that thing. It's when I play with Joy-Cons, like it doesn't. N64 games don't. Feel right.
No. It's like the PS1 version doesn't have like dual shock support, but it has like dual analog support. That weird like controller that they put out for a few months before the DualShock came out. So it's like right in that weird window, and I've never even touched one of those. But just using a normal DualShock with it maps the dual stick controls to the D-pad and face buttons. So like you have normal dual stick movement, but they're digital still because they're like it's reading the stick input as pressing a face button. So it's still just on or off instead of having those like degrees of how much you're pressing it. It's really, really weird.
I kind of like it, even if it sounds weird. Like, I don't know. I loved trying all the control schemes. Like, that's one of my favorite things about the show is trying to figure out, like, what the hell do they want you to do and, like, what actually works for me.
Yeah, it's both an era of game design and era of hardware control input design where just not a lot of confidence going around.
Yeah, like, this was far from, like, one of my favorite games we played, but it's probably, like, one of my favorite in terms of, like, how just interested I was in messing around with it and all its different versions and stuff. Again, I don't think you probably didn't have much more to say about the actual gameplay. I don't think that was a big draw for you, but
yeah, I think that's just me with first person games.
Yeah,
there are not a lot that I am really into. Maybe I'd be more into some of them if I was playing on PC, because it just seems like no matter what, I don't jive with the controls of a first person shooter with a controller.
Yeah. I'd
say totally like fair. With like Doom 64 and Quake, those are the times when I felt most comfortable.
You've dug into the trove for some of that. We did talk a little bit about how like the stories were different. You were diving into the lore. Can you elaborate on that some more?
There are several fun character bios. One of which tells us what the LA and LAJ stands for.
Yeah, did you guys know this? The LAJ, it's not Los Angeles J, which is like an evil version of J.
I must say I did play LAJ the entire time. I felt like I had to.
It stands for Ladies Adore.
Damn Skippy, they do.
It is known.
Ladies Adore.
And can I get a preach, my brothers?
About every port of this game has like 50 different Duke Nukems stuffed in there.
It's an army of Duke Nukems.
There's like a certain 90s edgy genre of basically Scrimblows where it's like, here's our edgy Pookies. We love them. They show up in every game.
You especially get it in the PC version, or I was playing in the remaster, when you're actually selecting the characters, and they actually have more voice lines and stuff. And there's one guy just named Beard, who one of his voice lines is just a belching,
hell
classic.
Yeah.
He's such a weird, like, he looks like he should be a big gruff biker dude, but he's just like an awkward mountain like Beard. I'm Beard. Like, I don't know. It's a very strange delivery on his voices.
Barfly that's never
good,
left the bar, thus never had to learn how to socialize outside of it.
Yeah. 100%. It's a real who's who of various awkward like 90s racial cartoon stereotypes.
Yeah, there's some other hit us with some other bios you pulled.
Well, you just mentioned Beard, who was expelled from the International College of Design for refusing to shave. So, Beard.
Like you haven't seen
Checks
hairy,
out.
sweaty people at art school before. Fucking come on.
Beard took to lugging the corpse of his former best friend around the spaceways on his hover bike. So he's the one who has the little, like side car.
Yeah, is dead.
That's a corpse in there.
Which source are you pulling from for this one?
This the 90s were so N64 cool.
Yeah, that's gotta be the N64 guy. I remember seeing his little buddy in the sidecar and being like, hell yeah, my brother. The dead will rest. It will never be forgotten. But thankfully he's like strapped in tight so that when Beard goes upside down, the corpse doesn't fall out. Remember, kids, always wear your seatbelts.
Forever.
Do you guys have like a preferred character to play as or anything? I noticed they have different stats, I know, in the remaster, but
those aren't in the N64.
I think
they're not displayed in the N64.
Yeah,
I think they
were still there, but they just didn't say anything.
The manual does say that they have stats, but
okay, the stats are visible in the PC version for sure.
That's not too uncommon. We've definitely played a handful of games where they like describe the vibe of their stats almost like, and you're supposed to like figure out what that means.
Famously, Mario Kart 64.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, you found some other good tidbits actually in that magazine, right?
Well, they did talk about the difficulty. So
yes, that's right.
Even back then. They said finishing the game even via the easy route is certainly one of the most challenging tasks we've seen in an N64 game. After copious tears and profound cursing, we managed to reach the first ending and we're told to try the harder routes. Gulp. We'll let you know if we get any further.
You got Makai Murad.
Did they do a follow-up?
They do talk about it in the next issue.
Did they get farther?
Blog update. Still playing this.
It quickly becomes like the audio logs from a in-sim where it's like, oh no, they're dead in 3 audio logs. You can just tell. we're following a
Everybody's
corpse.
tired. No one trusts each other anymore.
I know they did spend some time. They did make a lot, I guess, because it was maybe the standard on N64 at the time for multiplayer, but I remember you were giving me a lot of quotes where they were comparing it to GoldenEye, which it's a little crazy. We did do a little bit of the multiplayer. What'd you think about the multiplayer, Makeda?
All right,
it was fine. I definitely prefer to play a multiplayer battle in another game.
Sure.
But it did help me figure out how to control better. You know, you just let me figure it out for a second instead of having enemies shooting at me.
Practice mode, yeah. Except we were playing against our friend who was way too good at it.
yeah.
Which is also insane. I was like, okay, we're screwed. I knew that was like, we only had played a little bit of the single player at that point, and I was like, this does not bode well for the rest of the game. I don't know. Did you guys play much of the multiplayer? I don't know if you got a chance to do that, but
a little bit. Like I said, I roped my 10-year-old into playing it with me for an afternoon or so. But there's one map in the N64 version that's exclusive there. I want to say it was called like Pandora's Box or something like that. But it's doing a bunch of like bigger on the inside shit where you fly into the central like I don't even know what you would call it. Like it's just like a bulk of weird like I don't know metal and whatever the environments are made out of. You know, you start out like kind of an empty like the inside of a sphere basically, and there's one like floating object in the room with a couple different like holes on it that are points of egress, and you fly inside, and as soon as the like viewport of your camera crosses that invisible line and you're in and you've flown through the hole and are inside the thing, it loads a different like environment around you so that like
that's pretty cool.
It is then like you go into this thing that looks like it's only a little bit smaller than the room that you started in, and it's like the rest of the level is like a whole like factorial complex inside that of like rooms within rooms and doors that lead into each other and weird like space between spaces stuff, just because they're doing weird stuff with parts of the environment that are being loaded in and out as you move. So it's a really, if moving around in this game wasn't already breaking your brain enough, this'll do it.
I'd love to do 6 degrees of movement within the House of Leaves.
Yeah, 100%. You're playing Antechamber with descent control.
I'd vomit immediately. Antechamber already barely makes me like hold it together.
I feel like you can't say the game doesn't lack, I guess, like creativity and like inspiration. Like I feel like they were on one when they were
other video game right there. They just kind of
they were cooking. Yeah.
Significant segments of Prey 2006 are just that.
I did read
like everyone remembers.
I don't know it. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
I know it, but
it's fine.
Well, actually, Jay, did you play the multiplayer
I did not.
at all?
The only person I would be able to conscribe would be either my wife, who I love too much to give her motion sickness, or my 4-month-old, who I love too much to give motion sickness.
Yeah, that would be so good though if that was his first game. Can you imagine?
I mean, he doesn't need help throwing up, you know. He's already got this on lock.
Fair. Okay, yeah, that's fair. We kind of mentioned it, but I do want to talk about actually just like the vibe I think is really cool, even on the N64 version, and especially the soundtrack that you mentioned, Andrew. Though I did notice like there are some songs when they kind of got stripped down from the PC to the N64 version, and some of them like kind of became a different genre. And it's one of those things where it's like, obviously the N64 version isn't as strong as the other versions, but there was a couple songs where it was like noticeable. Like there's one song that's more of like a guitar lick that happens. Like it happens in the first level. Yeah.
Making stupid sounds with my mouth is
no. Yeah,
clear enough.
I was only a half step behind you. We both knew the lick, how to enunciate it terribly.
As soon as you said guitar sample, I was like, yeah, that's
in the PC version of that. It goes into this whole like I don't know, drum and bass or whatever type beat on top of it. That's sick, and it's like a totally different song. But otherwise, like a lot of songs were respectable, but overall I mean McKenna, this is like a pretty cool soundtrack in our library, I would say.
Yeah, at least like listening to you play the remastered version.
Okay, so
that was a really good soundtrack.
They were some of the songs were blowing my mind, honestly.
Yeah.
I think the N64 version has some respectable versions, but yeah.
It's it's enjoyable enough to vibe to.
Enjoyable enough to vibe to. That's the quote on the back of the box.
Flashback seal of approval. Dominic Glynn is the name I was looking for earlier. It's him and working with another person on the sound team under the name The Swarm on this. But Dom Glynn's doing like stuff like this and various aspects of software-driven British electronic music for a million years. If you've ever messed with any of the old like Zero G or Sonic Foundry sample CDs from the 90s that were everywhere, the soundtrack for this game is just like built out of most of the stuff that's like the first few dozen tracks on that disc that everyone skips through. So it's just like if you've spent any time listening to anything that weird British guys are making on an Amiga in the 90s, you've heard these samples a million times.
It has a certain I'm not super familiar with those sound banks, but like this soundtrack immediately called out as like, I am certain they're ripping the first selections off of a sound bank kind of tone. Like,
yes, 100%. Yeah,
they did not dive deep on this one. They took the first couple things they saw and ran with it.
Yeah, it's very much the first few Supergiant game soundtracks being primarily arrangements of Apple loops and stuff kind of thing. It's very much like, I don't know, it's existing stuff that you took there and arranged into something cool. So that's not a judgment or whatever, but
it might be for me. It's like I had this similarly with the Tetrasphere soundtrack, where the composer actively said he was like, I'm ripping off like specific type of stuff, but I think it's because it's like a genre that I only have like cursory familiarity with, that like whenever I hear it, just like if I hear like a competent version of it, it's always something that when I hear it, I'm like, this is fucking awesome, but I don't like listen to it all the time. So I'm kind of I'm very easily impressed by it, I think,
Like this soundtrack is memorable. Like people, like, if there's one thing that people remember aside from the really weird North American marketing campaign for this game, it's the music. I think generally speaking, like what I posted about it the other day, I got a couple of people that were just like, oh, this OST bangs so hard.
Overall the vibe, I think the look, Andrew kind of mentioned like the tunnel environments, the lack of fog that we were talking about, like it does like have an aesthetic. It's similar to some other games we've talked about where and maybe in the soundtrack too, where it's maybe not like the most original necessarily, but I think like all the little ship designs look cool. Like when we were playing the remaster version, you can collect little figures of everything, and I like them. I like the little guys. The ships are cute, I think.
Some little like Klingon birds of prey floating around.
Yeah.
Some various like space barges.
Yeah, the Klingon birds of prey like stick out pretty heavily.
Yeah.
I also liked fighting them more than levels where you'd have to fight the bikers, because the ships are big and chunky, kind of like better targets, but the bikers are so small and they zip around so fast.
Like
I'm like
trying to swat gnats. Except the gnats have like 18 layers of power armor on.
Susgun, baby.
Susgun is nice. That was another thing too that I felt like I more started to click with it in the remaster, and then some of that was transferable back to the N64. But like just understanding the different weapons, how they worked, and how certain ships work, I feel like I was able to like absorb that more playing the remaster. But then I did find it helped me like fighting enemies and getting different weapons in the N64 game. And it does have, I feel like the array of weapons is pretty unique, and they're like fun when you get a certain one. Like a lot of them I get excited about getting. Like there's not any that I was like, oh crap, like this one sucks or anything. So
getting into the rhythm of the Trajack is kind of weird, I think. Having to remember that you're using a charge shot.
It takes a second.
Where everything is just
takes
flying
a second,
around.
but I like the Trajacks after that. Is the Susgun the one that fires in the world's worst spread pattern?
I think so.
Guess.
It's
if
like
you're chasing somebody, it's extremely easy to melt their health.
But if you're like further than arm's distance, you can pull the trigger on that thing for 5 seconds and have every single goddamn bullet miss.
Yes.
Only extremely frustrating in levels where I'm again conserving ammo to the utmost potential.
It's weird because the orbital pulsars that you get fire the same rounds, but they fire in a perfect straight line.
They can pass their
It's the
their
little, like,
field sobriety
rotating
test.
Yeah. They only have to fire one round each at a time, right? That's easy. Or something.
You got it. What other nuggets you got, McKenna?
Nugget. Oh, I did find where they're talking about getting to the harder levels. If you play the medium path through to the power dome level, then and finish that, then it takes you like if you finish with a high body count, it'll take you to like the second to last hard level. So you can just play like most of it at a medium level and then just finish hard.
I think the second level on the hard path is harder than the second to last level on the hard path, if memory serves. I'm sorry, I'm scrolling through the one game facts on this right now, trying to
literally the
which
single
one I'm talking
game
about
facts
here.
holding this game down.
Was that one an award-winning game fact? Didn't we see that? Or was that a different game we were playing? There was a game we were playing recently where we pulled up the game fact and it was like,
I think this was like game fact of the year, and it came out like 5 seconds ago, right? It came out a month ago and won fact of the month, November 2025.
Oh no, the one I was looking at was earlier. It was a different. It was a different game.
Oh yeah, sorry, that's not for. This is for the not N64 version.
Yeah, there's the not N64 version. It's like there's like a extremely gussied up
here. What do you mean?
Like HTML fact for the non N64 version, and it's like, okay, well, back to 1999 with the N64 one.
Yeah, I want the real shit.
2006 and updated in 07 for whatever reason.
I can tell you, it still reads like it was made in 1999.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's a game fact.
Like there was a post about this recently where it's like the way facts used to be written late 90s, early 2000s. Like this is a game facts ass game facts. Like there's a culture about how these things used to be written, and this guy fits right in.
We encounter some a lot where it's like where it's like extremely helpful, but then you get to like one hard part, and they're describing something, and they're like, then you got to do like some shit like this for this part, and I'm like, no, that's the part I wanted help with.
Oh yeah,
I don't know. I kind of appreciate when that happens, even though it sucks.
I think it was the Quest 64 one we were looking at.
Oh yes,
that looked really nice, but it was not helpful with the part we were at.
That's exactly So I both love and appreciate these old game facts for helping us, but sometimes they really fuck us over.
This is what happened to me in the Switch one last night. I was in the powered down mission at the end of the medium route, and then got bounced over to something much, much harder because the end of the hard route is a boss rush. And nope, no thanks. I'm good.
I will say too, the game, something I appreciate about the game trying to do is like having more distinct sort of scenarios. Like that does feel like something that's maybe. Well, I guess the PC game has it even more. So I appreciate that it's more than just like, go in and kill everything. But a lot of levels are just like go in and kill everything, even when they don't say that's what they are. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I did notice playing in the remastered version that it did feel more like the stuff in the levels was more novel and unique and like, oh, that's cool. Like that's creative, compared to just opening up doors and stuff, but that's okay. Yeah. I mean, I love me some key cards and doors, so I'm not mad about it.
The PC version will never have a mission that makes you defend a drone, though. So by default, I think maybe it takes a few less hits for that.
Some of those, the hit points on some of those things you have to defend is horrible, and it's like you have to like. I feel like there's not a way to do it perfectly. As soon as you hit a switch to like move a drone, like move it down, there's one where it's on like a track, and it's like no matter what, it's going to take damage. So like you have to be so good to get through those. Like the one we have to defend all the cores in the hard route as well was obnoxious because it's like they take very little damage from enemies, but if one of your shots goes wide, it takes a lot more from you. I feel like it's very easy to blow those things up. But it's a lot of just weird. Like there are a bunch of defense and
what's the word I'm looking for? Escort missions effectively in the medium and hard routes in the N64 game that the other one will not ever ask you to do.
Yeah, the remaster I was playing, like some had you solving like puzzles and stuff like that, and some like made me mad because I got confused or whatever. But at the end of the day, I was like, wow, that was actually really cool what they did there. So, but yeah, I don't know. I guess I give them an A for effort on a lot of things with this game, I think, and it actually reviewed fairly well. Like all versions of it, even the N64 version, like had decent reviews. Like I was looking at different outlets and stuff, and actually seems like, oh, this could have been a thing. Like I saw that maybe they had an idea about doing like sequels for this and stuff, but nothing ever came of it. And like you guys mentioned, like this sort of style of game, you don't really see a ton of at all, really.
Yeah, it's like the people that made Descent came back and kickstarted and put out Overload a few years back, and that's from what I understand it, very good. And there's some other free space spinoffs and stuff out there, but yeah, there's just not a lot. If you're looking for this exact type of game, there are not a ton of them.
Yeah, too bad. But I mean, props to the game. McKenna, did you have anything else you wanted to talk about for the game?
We mentioned the lighting, right?
Yeah, we briefly mentioned the lighting.
We talked about the lighting.
It's extremely impressive.
Yeah, I like. Yeah, the colors, the different colors look nice. And were probably the most helpful thing in like distinguishing where you were.
Yes. Yeah. Like, oh, I'm in the
green
oh God,
tube.
where am I? And then I'd be like, oh, I found the green wall here. I know where I am now.
Yeah, much more so, I think, in the N64 version, because they have the pre-built like sector lighting and stuff like that. So different areas are kind of pre-colored that way.
Yeah, it's sort of like we were talking about that with Quake. We were talking about that a little bit. Like it had that sort of vibe to it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the lighting was cool for sure.
Where's the Saturn port of Forsaken, damn it?
In Saturn port hell, alongside hundreds of other Saturn ports that never happened.
Yeah, a million other things that would never ever run. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, someone should try to do it now. I feel like there's some sickos out there.
There absolutely is. So. I've seen people homebrew like FPSs on Saturn, and they look phenomenal.
Okay, so yeah, we have kind of touched on most things. Jay, is there any other thoughts you had on the game you wanted to get out there before we go?
The only thing I want to say is that like this game is extremely good. Like it is a outstanding game. I think it controls great. I played really well off the default control. I do think the game kind of wants you to play that way. Music's very fun. Technically, kind of like a sleeper hit masterclass on what you could do on the N64 at the time. It's just that this game will stomp your dick off, and like in a way that kind of kills the fun of it. You have like it's a very, very, very good game that moves at a very fast pace, and then when you hit that wall, the wall's gonna win.
Mm-hmm. I 100% agree with like that assessment. Totally. Like it is a really fun game that like you can both like sink your teeth into, but also like it also can make you feel really bad. It's a double-edged sword almost.
Yeah, I think maybe going in with a bunch of unnecessary prep probably put me in a good spot, I guess, to figure out how to put up some of what this game was putting down. But yeah, there are definitely some termination points of just like unnecessary. Like it doesn't feel like it was tuned that difficultly on purpose. Tuned it that difficultly.
I did quickly read off of Wikipedia, and I don't have the source up for it. It does cite something, but and this is most likely in regards to the PC version per patching not being a thing you could do for N64 games. But there is a part of like the development on the Wikipedia page where it says that they did a 1.0 patch to address the near impossible difficulty of the game. Yeah. And I'm going to go ahead and assume that didn't roll out for the N64 version. They might have just been working off those original notes.
Yeah, maybe. But also, whatever it's worth, that old ass computer ain't connected to the internet, and this is just a disc, and I beat that some bitch. So bite me.
We got pros, and we got pros in chat right now. This
message
man
from Andrew
is 6 degrees.
is get good. Get good is what Andrew's trying to tell us.
Skill issue.
Yeah.
No,
I did feel like it's a game where you can like learn the controls and like and like gel with it.
It's a game. Yeah. It's a game you can master. The problem, I think, is that the game demands mastery from you. If that makes sense. Like there's not a whole lot of easing you onto it. Again, like the easy levels should probably have been easier. But if you master the game, then most stages are possible. Again, I don't know how you beat the final one on easy without cheats. I ran out of ammo. But like if you master the game, then it is awesome. You feel like a space ace zipping around doing unbelievable shit on the N64. It's just everything up to mastery is torture because it's just going to stomp your balls off.
Wow. I'm actually very impressed with your skills, Andrew.
No, I like reading more about this final level on the easy route. I don't think I beat this. I think I probably bounced over to try the other ones. Because I think I played 3 different versions of the N64 one alone at this point. Because they rolled a bunch of that stuff into the remaster, and then they retooled the levels to like flow differently. Because Night Dive, and then messing around with the Switch version. Obviously, you have like suspend points you can mess around with if you're having trouble with stuff. I didn't think to use. I always forget that cheat codes used to be a thing.
Right? Cheat codes used to be a thing.
Right?
Kids back in my day.
They took from us.
Remember
a guy that is constantly playing old video games, you'd think I would remember more that those are all over the place.
The cheat codes are awesome too. And that's one thing I think of, like every Iguana game we've played have had like a nice array of cheats. Now the police are going by. Jesus Christ.
You cheated. You admitted to it.
That's the fastest I've seen the police respond to anything.
We got a cheater.
But the game where police are out.
I like seeing there's like, the psychedelic mode, the wireframe mode, the gore mode or whatever. And then obviously all the ones that like you can make it so you don't run out of ammo or whatever. And I think like that's kind of one of those things where it's like you can sort of make your own difficulty with it. And I appreciate that, like that they don't necessarily hide it. In fact, like playing in this might be the remaster version, but like playing in the remaster, like after you beat a level, they give you a cheat code to try out, which I think is fun.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So shout out to cheat codes.
Shout out to Donna Desiani. I looked up her name, the model on the cover of the North American version.
Oh, I thought you were going to say that's the person who came up with all the cheat codes. Like there was a credit.
I just the credits page.
I just thought that was
games.
Another like cheat code, a la like the words you punch in for StarCraft.
Abacab. Yeah, this is the Forsaken's Justin Bailey is just the name of the model.
There was a cheat code that we tried to enter that was supposed to give you nude designs on the ships that did not work.
What does that even mean?
It was patched out.
The hog has a hog?
Yeah, the hogs have a hog. Yeah.
If you need to cut that joke, feel free.
I don't know what it was actually. Probably boobs or something, but I think it was tits out was the code.
Well, there you go. They found a way to earn that M rating retroactively.
We started this pod off with a question, and god damn it, did we find the answer?
Let it never be said we are not game historians. Oh, shout out to the guy that Claim hired all the time that was just like the late 90s cool voice guy. Logosano. Like whatever. Yeah, whatever that guy's name is. He's cool as hell.
Oh, yeah. I like that.
There is.
That's worth pointing out too. Like the PC version has like this crazy cutscene when you start it off.
The PS1 one does too.
And the N64 it's all carried by that voiceover. I think we about covered it. Andrews, did you have any other final parting words?
Abandon all hope. The future is forsaken.
The future is forsaken. The future is forsaken. The future is forsaken. The future is forsaken. The future is forsaken. The future is forsaken. The future is forsaken. The future is forsaken.
Hello, we are Kirby Conversations, a podcast on Kirby, along with other adjacent subjects like Smash Brothers, HAL Laboratory, and other related Nintendo games.
In each episode, we take an in-depth, well-researched look at a Kirby topic, drawing on our decades of experience playing Kirby games, creating Kirby-related content, and working in and around the video game industry. I'm Sean Douglas. I'm a theater and video game journalist.
And my name's Bridget. I'm an online Kirby commentator and collector.
Our team also includes photographer and Nintendo ambassador Kai, Captain Dangerous Parker, and Gigi, the editor-in-chief of Wick Kirby. Join us for deep dives into Kirby's history, interviews with industry professionals, and even inside looks at Nintendo, as together we explore all things Kirby and HAL Laboratory. You can find Kirby Conversations on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
I had fun every step of the way with this one, except for we'll see about editing the podcast. That's where the karma comes back around. Our next game in our timeline, are you ready for this? Clay Fighter Sculptor's Cut is our next game.
I had that one.
Did I sign up for that?
I actually no, but I have someone
Okay.
on lock.
I was
for
like,
that
I was just like, I put myself through the mines for 63 1/3. Did I double dip? Please say no.
I'm going to spare you.
Thank God.
Oh, gosh, I remember listening to the 63 1/3 episode while I was capturing footage of Runabout for the Digital Foundry video we did for Reckless. Speaking of which, when the Night Dive remaster came out, John did a good video comparing the different versions of Forsaken as well. Which
I gotta see that.
A much better explanation, by the way, of the multiplayer map thing I was talking about earlier, with visual guides and stuff that makes more sense. So that's a really good 20-minute video if you want to see all the versions of Forsaken next to each other and what they did to that remaster. I think is very cool. But Sculptor's Cut was my horrible memory. Of all of the things that I lost when I was talked into donating my N64, that was maybe the biggest financial issue there. Those picked up from a closing Blockbuster. And for years, I was like, there's no way I had that version of it, right? And then I looked up the characters
in
that
fairness,
are in it, and I was like, I did have that version of it. And I never touched that game because
there's no world where we would have known that was a golden cartridge that laid golden cartridges as eggs.
I would have gotten rid of it by now anyway because that game is nauseatingly disgusting. So have fun.
Yeah, well, this is
have fun, suckers.
Fun with
this is next episode discussion, but I'll say here anyway. We were considering just not doing it because it's like, well, it's sort of. But I had someone. We were getting someone on the podcast, and I asked them what games do you have a history with? You would want to talk about? List like I ask everyone. And Clay Fighter was one of the games he gave me, and I was like, you know what? We can run it back. We can run it back and talk Sculptor's Cut. I was really nervous when I told you that, McKenna.
Honey, we have to play Clay Fighters again.
We have to go into the racism mines once more.
They haven't updated the racism. They added more characters.
This is maybe one of the
bottom of the barrel.
This is
absolutely
the worst.
Andrew, what would you like to plug before we get out of here?
I am going to go record an episode of The Silent Discographer with friends of the show, Adam and Andre, here in about 15 minutes. So,
hell yeah.
That, I guess, we're going through the discography of REM. We're almost done. After that, I don't know.
It's a great podcast. Thanks for pulling double duty with us today. Always great to talk to you. You're like
get this out of my system finally.
Yeah.
I was bound to revisit Forsaken eventually, and now I've revisited it so much that I may never have to again.
I always love talking to both of you guys and getting your. I always appreciate the extra effort and stuff, and I think it's great to have you both. You guys are sort of like main characters on the podcast. So
this is the punchy zone where when me and Andrew are on, it's like, okay, the seat belts are off. We come in with a lot of research, but shockingly little brains.
Well, it makes both of our jobs much easier. We just
Beavis and Butthead crash a car through the wall. You say this makes my job easier. That's
it's easy to do the talking, but you're pasting drywall afterwards.
No, it's more.
That's what the edit of this this is going to be like.
No, the sirens are a much bigger problem than you guys.
Even better.
Jay, what would you like to promote?
Yep, IdolismJ on Blue Sky and on YouTube. On Blue Sky, I'm funny because I'm deranged, and on YouTube, I put way too much effort into making videos that are way too long. Good shit.
Highly recommend it. The gaming in the year of video that just came out as a recording this was awesome. We got more sirens. I don't care. I'm going to power through. I am so close to picking up the new Luminous game.
Dude,
Do it.
So your recommendation already
It's so fucking good. So fucking good.
Both you guys recommending already had me, but then your video really extra sold it to me.
It's incredible. It's an absolutely incredible game. I'll give a teaser for the next video I'm working on for the channel. It is a absolutely monstrous rundown of maybe the past year and a half of the Chinese FMV dating sim genre.
Oh shit. Okay, that's awesome. That's what I really come to there for.
It's gonna be incredible. Let's go.
Fuck. Okay. All right, sweet. Well, let's get out of here before any other disasters happen. Thanks to both of you guys. Thanks to everyone for listening. Thanks to Lee, our special Triforce tier patron. Lee, you're the great.
Shout out
You're
Lee.
the greatest. You're the GOAT. Check flashback64.com, soundstone.network for all the other great shows on the network. McKenna, good job.
Good job, Coop.
Thanks for the lore.
Yeah.
I will forever thank you for Ladies Adore Jay. That's one of
Yeah.
the greatest things we've learned.
Damn right. I be saying. Streets are saying the ladies adore Jay.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.
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 Do you find yourself playing older games and wishing that there were new discussions about those games? Enter Tales from the Backlog. Hi, I'm Dave Jackson, and on each episode, I'm joined by a guest to break down those games that may be stuck in your ever-expanding backlog. Each episode looks at one game in depth, focusing on mechanics, story, music, and other aspects with no spoilers until a clearly marked spoiler wall in the middle. If you've played the game, go ahead and climb that spoiler wall and enjoy in-depth story discussions, and if not, jump out when we warn you and maybe go play that game for yourself. We have over 100 episodes in the feed, everything from Disco Elysium to Tunic to discussion episodes about how to get into horror games, and if games actually need to be fun, or if they have more to offer. I guarantee that there's something in there for everybody. Once again, that's Tales from the Backlog, available wherever your podcasts are found.